It's a full day for me.
Is this all the billing time you're gonna take?
Yeah, but if you're really good, I will have a drawing for my Sigler Law LLC pen after the meeting.
You might want to check out your new office on the way out.
Is that right? I'll check her out. Thank you.
Can we have our minutes from our March 6th council meeting?
Make a motion we approve the minutes as submitted.
As written. First and second. Any discussion? Those in favor signify by your right hand.
Jim, do you approve the minutes?
Who made the second? I'm
I
sorry.
did. Sheriff Hodges, you are next on the agenda. I see you did make it.
I did make it. I'm here just to, I submitted to council 2 reports. One dated March 19th, which is the annual jail statistics for 2011, and the other one is dated March 20th this year for the commissary report for the last 6 months of 2011. So I was just here to field any questions, comments that you might have on either one of those 2 reports.
I appreciate what you do with the funding you come up with on that commissary report. It's to save the taxpayers a considerable amount of money, and I thank you for being.
Thank you.
Mark, is there any, on this report, is there anything that jumps out to you from last year's report
Which report?
on the one that's dated the 19th? The jail statistics?
Other than the numbers on the first few pages, those vary obviously from year, because those are just statistics. When you get deeper into the report, some of those items stay the same. But I do have 3 that I wanted to just kind of go over with you. On page 4, item number 7 is our it's correctional health care companies. It's the company that does our inmate health care. That contract is due up at the end of July, and we are working hard to check with other companies just to make sure that the services for what we're paying is up to snuff with correctional health care. I'm not saying we're going to make a change, but we're just comparing with a couple other companies that have come forward and just doing some comparisons there to make sure that we are where we want to be with that. Inmate health care, just a side note on that, is becoming so much more of a liability than it used to be. The people that are coming in are sicker and sicker. I don't remember exactly what the percent number is now for the mentally ill that we house, but rather than sending them to the locations where they should be for mental health evaluations and care, we take care of them. So the bottom line on that, the liability is going up and up and up, and we're just trying to make sure that the healthcare company that we have in there is providing us the help that we need to make sure we stay on top of that.
Are these
Mark?
issues coming about due to meth-related situations?
I don't know that it's specific to meth, but it's just a combination of everything. When an individual is not in jail, they don't seek any medical help for anything, inside out. But as soon as they get in jail, they need medicines for this. They need their teeth fixed. They got broken bones that needed to be repaired somewhere along the line. But then again, when they get back out, they take care of nothing. It's they try to take advantage of the system that they're in. So specifically, I don't know that it's meth, it's just a combination of everything anymore.
Mark, this healthcare company that we use, is there or surrounding counties use the same one? Or are they all different, all over the place?
There's two main ones that are being used, actually now three, that are being used in Indiana. Advanced Healthcare is probably one of the largest in the nation. They have hundreds of jails that they provide services to. Correctional Healthcare was the one that we are using, has about, I think, 12 or 15 jails within Indiana, but they also cover many, many states. The other one that we're looking at is a relatively new company. It's based out of Muncie, and we're kind of in negotiations with them to see what kind of prices they have. We're, as a group, interviewing them. We're kind of in favor of their services. We're just wanting to make sure that the dollar amount that we're talking about is going to be, in line with what we're already paying. So, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, you did, yeah, pretty good. This new one you're talking about, do they have any experience with other counties at this time?
Right now they are in, I think, 6 or 7 other counties just right here in Indiana. It's their preference. It's kind of a double-edged sword. They're small and they want to stay small, so from a personal standpoint, I think that is good for us. The other side of it is they're small and they want to stay small. Not exactly sure how that's going to wash out in the end. I think it can work either way for us. So,
Do we still have to have our own jail physician, or has that changed?
the healthcare company provides that for us now.
Okay, so we don't have to contract with have a separate contract for a jail
No,
physician?
correct, we do not.
And back when you used to have help me out, a jail nurse or something, and that's not in your budget anymore either, is that correct?
Correct. It's all been combined into just one line item for inmate health care, or medical services basically, which includes other things on top of the healthcare company. The second item is on the bottom of page 6. This is a good thing for you guys because it costs you absolutely no money. For you, for me, for the taxpayers, we installed a new inmate telephone system called Telmate. It replaced the one that had been in place at the jail for many, many years. They came in with a proposal that nearly, in some months, it doubles our revenue, our intake from inmate phone calls. And the way that happens is they did not necessarily raise the rates that the inmates are paying. They improved and enhanced the way that friends and families can deposit money on their accounts and also make phone calls out to them. And when an individual is brought in and booked, they are given one free phone call through this company. So it allows them to immediately get in touch with some family members who then can in turn immediately or very, very soon get money put into their account, which allows them to spend money on phone calls, on commissary items, things of that nature. So that's how it's improving our revenue. Along with that, and it actually will be in next year's report, but we changed the jail management software company. What had been in place for several years, or for the past few years, was becoming unsupported, and we came across, through Telmate, they provided us a contact with a company called Jail Tracker. And we reviewed that and went over it, and after a lot of soul searching, we decided to go with that. The cost on that was around $70,000, but the way it was worked out, since Telmate and Jail Tracker are they're not connected, they're two separate companies, but they work well with each other. Their system and jail tracker software all works together. We have to pay for that new system, and what we're doing is to pay for that, we're taking it out of the revenues of the phone calls, and inmate telephone calls. So it's costing the taxpayers nothing. It's reducing our revenues just a little bit. However, we're getting a jail management system that is far superior to what we had. It's very user-friendly, so it's going to be a tremendous improvement on that.
No, is that up and running now, or?
Yes, it is. That started, installation on that, I think, was in February. Forgot to mention that the inmate telephone system was installed for free because they make money off of it also. They also, the Telmate also installed a kiosk in the lobby of the jail, and we also have one over in the booking side that works in a method that allows family and friends to walk in. They can deposit with a credit card, with cash, right into the kiosk. They no longer have to come to the window and ask for somebody to come out to take their money, because before we didn't want to handle cash, so we'd have to, somebody would come in with cash, we'd tell them to go get a money order, then they'd come back. This just allows anybody to walk in, find their, whoever their inmate is, family, friend, whatever it is, and they could just slip a credit card in, put cash in, and it puts it right in on their books. That again allows them to, the inmate to spend money on phone calls and commissary items. The kiosk that we use in the booking area is twofold. It allows us, when an inmate, when a prisoner is brought in and they have a cash on them, the cash goes right into the kiosk, right onto their account. That way, again, we're not handling cash, not putting it in an envelope and trying to lock it away in a drawer until the matron can get it put into the books. It's safer for us, a lot easier to account for it.
Mark, is there charges in for that?
Yes, there are. Yeah, I don't.
You don't know what percent?
It is a percentage. Somewhere, typically, it's going to be around, based on obviously how much it is, but around like a $5 charge.
But the user pays that, correct?
Correct. Yes. Any other questions on that one? I just have one left that we also discussed yesterday. On page 7, under unfunded needs and projects, the second paragraph there that starts off with the cell locking mechanisms, I've been here before, I think. I know I have with the commissioners to explain that the control panel that unlocks the doors was installed with the jail 25 years ago. Today it's still working, but it's all manual. It's got rocker switches in it. If a confinement officer wants a door open, they call on the radio a certain number. You reach over to the board, find that number, and you hit the rocker switch. It unlocks the door remotely. Those rocker switches occasionally are going out, and they're becoming very, very expensive to replace. So far, we've been able to replace them through Williams Electronics. But again, there's going to be a day when those run out, and there's also been times when smoke and fireworks comes out of that panel. So the point on that is someday we're going to have to replace it. And the current method of doing that is with either a touch screen, a computer system, or a mouse, either one that will allow you just to find the door number on the screen and either touch the screen on that door number or run the mouse to it. And it accomplishes the exact same thing, only it's all computerized rather than in this manual control board. So,
Is your plan to put that in your budget in a year or so, or is it gonna be a surprise?
that's why, it's no longer going to be a surprise, because that's what I'm here for today.
Well, is it something you're gonna plan to do, or is it?
We
or you
discussed
gotta
that a little
wait
bit
till it quits?
yesterday, and I think maybe John can elaborate on that. We kind of discussed yesterday if there is a way, I don't know that there is a way, but if there is a way to begin to put money back into a certain fund for that. I know that we've discussed it before, and I was thinking at that time was, when the time comes, just to come before you and ask for the money, so.
How much do you say that would be?
Well, the last time we investigated that, it was really close to 100,000. The first time we looked at it, it was closer to 2,000, or 200,000, but over time, the electronics has improved, so the price is beginning to come down. We haven't looked at it recently.
I think that would qualify for two cap money.
That may have been what was suggested before, rather than trying to put a little bit of money aside, but again,
When that time, how long a process is gonna be to get that all done? Is it gonna be months or?
it's gonna take a considerable amount of time because, the wiring and everything that would go along with the computer system would have to replace everything that's there now. Exact how much, time would be involved in that, I don't know anymore. I know that we discussed it when I've interviewed a couple of different companies on it, but the exact time I don't recall. It's been a couple of years now since I looked into it.
Well, if this is something that's coming, we probably ought to investigate a little so we got some timetable and see what's coming out. 'Cause
Sure.
it's gonna be budget time before we know it again.
Are there any grant funds out there? Sorry,
That's right.
Pardon me?
We just,
sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
we discussed that yesterday, and I think it was kind of decided that Laura Shipman ought to look into that. I have not found anything over the years, but that's not to say that there's nothing out there that could be used. So I think that would be a wise thing to do, and somebody that's a professional on that end of it could look into it.
And on the video conferencing, I know that we looked at that a long time ago, but your judges have to be in agreement there. Are you getting good feedback from the judges regarding?
Yes, that was investigated, I think, must have been in 2010 or 11, I can't remember which. And yes, both judges are in favor of that, particularly Judge Fall, because he used it extensively in the military when he was deployed. So he knows how it works, he knows the value of it, and he's very much in favor of it. And as I explained yesterday, there was a memo, something came through from the courthouse that Judge Fall wanted to get that project resurrected and try to get it back on the
We
agenda
talked
for
about
us.
that a lot over the years.
Pardon?
This is not new, we've talked about that quite a bit over the years.
Yes.
It's definitely more of a cost-effective way to.
In the long run, it will be.
Right.
Immediately, it will not, because as explained yesterday, some transports that we do that are 200 or 300 miles could qualify for that, depending on what the judge wants and what the case is. And there is always those cases where the judge says, I want that person right here in front of me, so we have to go after them and take them back, so.
How good is the Department of Corrections and the equipment that they have that can be tied into?
We were told that just about every location has video conferencing. We found also that there's a plethora of businesses out there that want to sell you their equipment, and the pricing of that ranges anywhere from the one that we were looking at last was around 40,000, and then there's some that's up. We've seen some sheriffs that have been installing that, and they've been paying 100,000 for it. So, not exactly sure. It's a big decision on trying to figure out exactly what's going to be compatible and what's going to work in the courtroom setting that we have. We've a year or so ago we went down to Adams County and looked at their system, which is working very well. They have court in one building, have the inmates still in the jail, and they conduct it that way. It works very well, as long as you can get the equipment set up right so that everybody can see each other and everything is set properly so it, like you said, it matches what the judges want.
And then the last thing I would want to add is that on your plumbing and heating, I see that all of these in 2011 were Redmond. Do we have a contract with them, or do we price those out, or?
I I don't know that we necessarily price them out. Probably one of the reasons